So has some lovely charts for us to look at.
Yeah. Any questions? Any charts? Let's roll. Let's go. Anyone wants to go first, and then we'll just do hands up, and form a little queue so no one gets missed and not everyone talks over each other. Yeah, man. Feel free. You should be able to share your screen, dude.
All right.
Oh, got people joining. 1 sec.
What Andrew said.
Yeah.
Share my screen.
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on, crack on, man. Feel free.
Okay. Let me break it down from the beginning. So I was looking to buy around like this area right here. Let me go to 4 hour. Around this area for GU. But I guess we created equals right at this level before it.
Yeah.
So let's see, we can in the 15-minute. Okay, we swept these lows. We broke above the structure. So I was looking to buy around here, but we found a reaction here and we kept on going higher. I kind of have a question about like, if I was to look to take a setup like this, what's the highest probability, like, or just?
Well, that's pretty high probability, mate. Like basically, what you've had, right, is go on daily again, quickly, please, mate. So daily, we've just had 2 like massive breaks of structure, right? We've had a break. Well, all this is contained within this whole fucking larger break, right? But if we're just looking at like current price action, right? We've taken a high there. We failed to take it again and again and again with the liquidity, right? Then we get this massive break of structural downside, right? We then take out that too, right? We're very, very extended at this point in time. If we're looking at like the EQ of current price, right? So reasonably, we can expect that we will get, overall, we're still bullish as well. Right? That's what we have to remember, is that we are still bullish, right? So this could well be the formation of a new higher low or whatever. It might not be, right? It's with that break of structure, the downside, it's not reasonable to assume that at the moment, but it could be, right? So overall, right, we're very well priced at the moment. This is probably like the bottom 25% of that whole daily range, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool.
So like when I saw this right here, like we didn't necessarily break above it, like this supply in the 15. That's why I was kind of iffy about it. I was like, I don't know if I would take this, to be honest.
This is the last point of supply, right? This is the last thing that breaks significant downside structure, essentially. We have here as well, right? So you could have got here, definitely. But we have this last point of supply, right? So as soon as you react to it, just have a look at the lower time frame here quickly. Zoom in on like that specific price
like
action.
In this area, or?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that doesn't quite react to it, does it?
I say just
this area?
No, this area here. Is that the 15-minute? Is that actually like spot on the 15-minute? Because if not, I wouldn't class that as valid.
Yeah, this is like for this area.
I probably would have taken this here.
Yeah.
Oh, this?
Yeah, that there, because this doesn't react to it, right? This fails to, like, to be really valid, right? It needs to react to the...
and then break above it, right?
Yeah, and then break above it, right? Which we get here. We get this reaction, we get a poor pullback, right? We get that huge impulsive move to the upside that takes out the level of supply, right? Now, just go on the lower time frame again, go on like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that.
In this area?
Yeah, in this area here, yeah. This is G being G, isn't it? There's something on the seconds here. Basically.
Yeah, G would be kind of iffy.
Yeah, GU
stuff like that.
Like this was the most probable area that I would have taken it, but like if it was to like break above here, yeah, I would have taken it at this level.
Yeah, for me, see, the problem for me with this here, right, is yeah, cool. We just had this big impulsive move. We do get a poor reaction, and we do get like See, I'd still be waiting for change. What's this? 2 minutes. You get a change of character down here. It looks like you do. So yeah, that
Let
there.
me go to 1 minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken that as an entry here, basically, right? I would have wanted to see the reaction to it and order flow turn bullish again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
down here, right? We get the low gets, or this low over here gets taken, right? Takes these highs nicely. You get this failed reaction to this high, right? If the market's going to continue trending down, it's going to be from here, right?
Yeah.
Fails to, so yeah, that would have been the entry I would have taken personally.
Yeah. I found it better to just sit on my hands because I just didn't see it like break above this. So I was kind of iffy. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna retrace to this level, which I was actually looking to buy.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I would have, like, that's the entry I would have wanted, this one here, right? But GU being GU doesn't come back down to that.
Yeah, once it breaks above it. Yeah, I see. I get you. I get you.
That's nice. If it came back, that'd have been lush.
Yeah.
Mhm. Alrighty, man. Yeah, that was pretty much my question. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man.
No worries, mate.
How do I stop shit? Oh yeah.
Right. Have we got any hands up? Aha. Henry, do you want to go next, dude?
Sure, yeah, that works. How is everyone? Good?
Good. Thanks, mate. Yourself?
Good, thanks.
Good stuff.
So, yeah, so today I wanted to maybe focus a little bit on EU because I had, it's not that I had many troubles to understand it, but more like I was a little bit confused with the SD flips in terms of the breakup structure on the 15 minutes. So, for example, throughout the price action, I know I saw sketches posts yesterday, which was pretty cool because it was very relevant to today's explanation of how markets moved up.
Yeah.
But basically, what I wanted to go over in terms of question is that here, when we look at the price action and what broke that major structure here in the 15 minutes and even the 30 minutes, is that I kind of spotted like a 5 minutes demand zone here, basically that could be considered, I guess, as an SD flip because like it was the one, like maybe price struggled a little bit and then it decided to go down even more, which caused that pullback here. And then I kind of also spotted this one, but I didn't know if it was going to be relevant, and it actually didn't end up being relevant at all. And so the thing is, when price reached that zone, I was kind of hesitant to take a buy, which means that basically I was like, I missed that major opportunity, which was here this morning.
Yeah.
So my question is how, for example, this one was not relevant. Is it because this one was relevant on the 5 minutes and it was because it was the last one that broke structure?
It did get a reaction. That's one thing you've got to always remember, right? Is it you did get a reaction off it, it just didn't follow through, so it didn't do its job, and then obviously it gets taken out. So where's my pen gone? Obviously this here, the wicks that you spoke about, those buy to sell wicks, they're super powerful. I use them a lot, so it's a good spot, and obviously you do get a reaction from that, but it was more just to bring price back down to here. Why is this not letting me? Hang on one sec, my thing's gone crazy.
Yeah, no worries.
There we go. There we go. But then obviously when price comes back into this above 15 minute, you do get this here is that is the reaction, but it obviously fails to create anything. Then obviously it gets taken out, which is why then it comes back. That's your entry for longs. Now, obviously you can get more than one drive into this. You can get a second drive here that mitigates, the EQ. And of course that could pull back and, really sort of sell off. But it's all about, again, in the moment, you've seen a reaction that the high didn't exactly form the best off the reaction. It got taken out. So for me, being considering that we're at low prices as well overall, on a higher time frame, you're expecting a pullback of some sort on the 4 hour. So, you're just following the intention that the market's delivering. Obviously, I think that's one thing that's really important is reactions don't have to be, massive breaks of structure or, putting in new lows. They can simply sort of tap it, react, fails to take anything out, and we push above, break that level, which is now we've had a flip. So whatever causes that would then be your entry for the continuations long. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I get that part. So basically what maybe I'm trying to understand is that since we knew that we were going to expect like the beginning of a pullback on Euro USD, like on the 4 hour maybe time frame up to maybe the 50% discount premium level, maybe that's maybe a reason why maybe you would have maybe taken that buy, because you knew that maybe this one was maybe not likely to hold strongly. Because
I mean, the thing is, right, we can always expect pullbacks. We never know when they're going to come. Obviously, to be honest, last week I was expecting it to pull back quite a lot. It never did. It just kept dying. And that's one thing where, until sort of the 15-minute starts to show you, that it's changing trend again, you should not really keep, look for reversals. You should just follow momentum. But due to obviously this push this morning and seeing that, where's my Zoom has been a nightmare. Seeing that, obviously we had this mitigation down here, and then on the what time frame on the 5 minute, you took this low out, you took this high out, right? So you had a change in character down here. Price came back and mitigated that change of character. We had another lower time frame change of character again, so you could have entered here early morning, but then price has come back for this 5 minute, right? And it's broken structure, so it's shown us that at the moment these lows are being held. And they're holding this level, right? So we're seeing bullish order flow, having, liquidity to target and unmitigated levels. To be honest with you, I was expecting one of these levels potentially maybe to give us a nice sell. It didn't. And that's why I say sometimes you can't be fixated on, I have to sell here. Of course, when it gets there, if it changes character, etc., look for shorts. But again, be wary of where they're going to pull back to. And if a long presents, you need to sort of take the long. That's why sometimes hedging is quite powerful, because if you were in a long here and price comes into this level, then shorts are valid all day long. Your hedging price, one's going to pay off. And obviously, and the one above, it's not like you drew the wrong level or anything. It's very valid, but that was your reaction. So it sort of reacted, failed to do its job. And then we flipped, showing that demand's, in control, it's overpowered supply. And then obviously we've had that continuation. I would have, for me personally, I would have rather have been in one of the lower trades before I took this one for the long, but it's completely valid. I know Sam took it, so it's 100% valid. It's just more about in the zone and sort of how price is, sort of delivering at the time and just adapting to it, rather than having that it's got to do this or it will do this. It's just something that I've noticed a lot lately. If you marry yourself to it has to do this, you're only focused on it doing that, and you're not seeing the other opportunity that's pretty clear in your face, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, to never let your mind being clouded by.
Yeah, obviously you need to always have a directional bias as such, but whether you're buying or selling, just sort of let the market show you if what it wants to do. And obviously we never truly know. We never know that it's going to be the one. But like I was talking about the other day, obviously I read a quote in a book, how it really hits home with me, which is why I'll share it. But Barack Obama got interviewed and they asked, how does he make some of the decisions that he makes? Obviously, when he was president, and he says there's no such thing as like a perfect decision. You'll never have that 100%. It's going to happen. As long as he can get 51% with the information that's given to him, he'll make that decision. And I think that hits home a lot for all of us trading, because a lot of the time we're always looking for that perfect trade or that high probability setup. And in reality, the highest probability setup we've ever seen can happen and it can fail. It's game of probabilities. So I think we need to sort of just look at it as, does this information give me, enough clarity to take this trade? Do I have a 51% probability on it? Yes. Our edge, it's 50-50 pretty much straight away. It's buy or sell, right? So with our edge, it's a lot more than 51%, to be honest. So it's just a matter of executing the probabilities, and they will play out in your favor. So there's been many times recently where I'm looking for shorts and then a buy will set up. And since I've been able to change that mindset to just sort of flow like water and be in the zone, I've been a lot more profitable and found myself on the right side of the market. If you plan it all the time, I find that you just marry yourself to one thing and you just miss all the good stuff. That after you'll do a markup and you'll go, oh my God, how did I miss it? And it's just because in the moment you're telling yourself, I want to see shorts. It's like if you've ever played that game, like when you're at school, like yellow car and you'd punch each other. all of a sudden when you play that game, right, yellow cars are everywhere. But if you're not playing it, you don't really see them. It's because you're training your mind what you want to see. So if you say I want shorts, you won't look for longs. So yeah, just try and get in that kind of flow state, and take on board that 51% things. Honestly, it's like the most powerful thing that I've ever read.
Yeah, I'll definitely adopt that, because I know in the book, like by Jared Tander, The Mental Game of Trading, he talks about how sometimes our desire for perfection in decisions can kill us.
It really can, man. That perfectionist mindset is something that I really struggled with before. I used to be, I used to beat myself up if I got it wrong, because I wanted to always be right. And I soon realized, like, that's not trading. It doesn't work that way. Everybody gets it wrong. It's just about, do you have an edge that over a period of 10 trades, you'll be profitable? And here we've got that all day long. So it's just about executing over and over, and not taking a hit and then reducing it, or focusing on that loss too much and then changing your plan. I know I used to do that, and I know a lot of people do that. You might take a hit and you'll go, oh my God, my plan doesn't work, and you'll change it. And in reality, it was just a probability. It wasn't anything to do with your plan. It was just, that was what the market was doing at the time.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll stop chewing your ear off, mate.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah.
Felix, did you want to share next?
Yo, what's popping, guys?
How we doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, I'm all right, apart from Sam roasting my shoulder earlier. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, shall I share a little?
Whack it up, mate.
Can you, I was going to ask you this yesterday, but could you like make your charts not brown?
Fuck you. I'm keeping my brown color.
It's very different. Do you know what I mean?
Why EJ, man?
Yeah, leave me alone. I just like the low spread pairs.
EU then, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I know I was just looking at. I've been trying to look at 15 MPOIs and stuff like that. So
lovely, mate. Happy days.
Right. So I've been trying to follow 15-minute structure basically for framing up most of my trade ideas. Just to like try and stay on the right side of the market, which I don't know how well it's working out right now, but
are you looking at higher time frame structure as well, though?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You are looking at 4 hour and stuff. Yeah.
Because I mean, I always start on daily and then 4 hour, and well, I mean, I'll look at weekly from time to time as well, for sure. But yeah. So I was just still saying on the side of 15M structure here, but I kind of I couldn't really see this react to anything super powerful, because this is the final demand that takes out this high.
Well, yeah, but if we look,
it's already breached that.
If you look here, right, just zoom out a little bit. Right here, right, we start getting this succession of lower highs, right? Lower high, sorry, not lower high yet, right? Then we get a run, then we get this next breakdown, right? So we get this next lower high in the market here, right? Where did the market stop doing one thing and start doing another, right? Here's where that last lower high got taken out, right? So this inside bar is really where buyers took control of it.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, no, that does make sense.
We're seeing like this, right? This is sellers in control, right? Lower highs, even if it's substructure, right?
Yeah.
But then you get this reaction to this lower high here, right? Which is this inside bar, and then it pops, right? So this is the money.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense from a high time frame perspective, I guess. Yeah, so then I hop down from to the 15-minute. There's this flip which takes out this 15-minute low. So I was like, okay, this is a pretty nice level. I used this whole buy to sell range. It retraced up. 15M was still bearish, and then
by this point 15M is bullish, mate.
Oh.
Like I would say, if you just zoom out,
yeah, to be fair,
right? You got that break. Why is this pin stupid? You've got that break there, right? So lower high, then you've got that break there, lower high, then you've got that break there, lower high, right? 15M goes bullish.
Yeah, breaks.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, to be fair.
Massive liquidity trap as well. See how we sweep all of these lows and then we push? Generally speaking, It's not a good idea to trade towards it, especially if you've broken closed above 15-minute structure. It's then not a good idea to trade towards that, better to trade away from it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, to be fair, that kind of invalidates the whole thing anyway. I guess even it doesn't even matter too much about the entry now, but I saw a 1M change of character in here, had liquidity which was after the change of character. And yeah, I wasn't looking to make it like a crazy one. I was just taking it down to this.
Yeah, I get the reasoning, mate. Like the level that you're targeting makes sense, but like if you're going against structure, maybe you didn't notice that in the moment, but if you
Yeah,
are,
I think I clearly must have just not read structure right in the moment and just had my high up here.
yeah, and it's just better than to wait for like swing breaks, right? Like proper, like even at this point, I'd be waiting for like this low, this low here to go.
Yeah,
Really.
I guess because by that point you're quite far down the leg.
Exactly. Right. Like then you're more waiting to see, like or like what time? Yeah, that 1 minute. Even like we were DMing about, right? Like intent, right? Like strong pushes.
Yeah.
Like something clean, like forms equal highs, rallies up and then just melts, right? Then you play the retrace to that.
I guess I was kind of looking at like the high time frame intent because it's
the question is what is the higher time frame intent there? Because really, like for me there, I'd be looking at that saying the higher time frame intent is to run back up to the 50% of the 4-hour leg, most probably. And I would have
somewhere around here.
Long there. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like generally speaking, after we've had those big breaks of structure, we get the mitigation of something significant as well. Maybe you missed that it was significant, but even if it reacts to like an inside bar or any order block on a higher time frame, right, sweeps liquidity like that, and then you start seeing that aggression away from that, that's a sign to, maybe we don't want to get in the way of this right now.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't. I don't know. I guess I just didn't see this as a sweep of liquidity because I mean, even on the 15M, obviously there's liquidity at every high and low, but there's not really equal.
That's what you got to remember. They don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, and this is like you've got 2 points of liquidity, so this is like pretty strong, mate. Like trend line liquidity, normally speaking, you see how we get it here, right? So we've actually had like 3 drives into this as well. So you've had 3 liquidations, right?
Yeah, but then if you say that, surely when you're in a downtrend, it's always just liquidating on each push lower, and then you should trade into the downtrend.
Yeah, 100%,
of course it is. But that's what, like, how does the market then reverse, right? What is the, like, liquidity, right, is essentially all under here. We've just got passive buy orders. Right? Wait, hold on, sell orders. Yeah, sell orders. We've got passive sell orders here, right? So when we're coming down here, people are buying, right? Who's buying? Someone's buying here, right? The only people with deep enough pockets, they're going to be going, okay, well, it's down below, it's at a reasonable price at the moment. We're just going to buy, fill up position, buy, fill up position, buy, fill up position, positions filled, off we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and it's generally speaking, like 3 liquidations, a mitigation, and then, even here, you've had that first change of character as well.
Yep.
Right. So even after that, I'd be hesitant of shorting. I'd be looking more for longs. Like, could have got long in here anywhere. I wouldn't be looking like down here necessarily for longs, right? This is aggressive for sure. But as soon as you get that like 15-minute change of character, you've had that big sweep of liquidity. You've got liquidity to target here. You've got like liquidity to target up here. You're right at 4-hour discount. I would assume like this looks like 4-hour discount of that whole larger range as well, right? So yeah, like it's at that point in time, it's probably not the best place to be trying to sell it.
Plus you've had that mitigation, right? So
yeah, I guess I was just mainly looking at the next area as this because it breaks this high.
Yes,
for me, I kind of obviously this is still valid and it clearly is, but I kind of thought this was more important than this area
because that's where the initial injection come in.
Exactly right. And this is formed like a little bit of inducement basically.
And it never mitigated it, I don't think either, right?
Didn't even tap the body.
I don't think it tapped the top or anything, did it? No. So yeah, for me, I'd be looking at that. And then obviously you've had higher time frame mitigation, 15-minute chalk. So that would show me that we're having a trend change.
Okay. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's all good. I guess because just the thing that you were saying about sell side liquidity all the way down here. How like I guess I was saying before there's always going to be sell side liquidity when you're in a downtrend. So how do you differentiate just like structure continuing in expectational order flow rather than like a liquidity grab?
Oh, like mitigation, pricing,
Yeah.
changes the character, stuff like that. Like as soon as you get like that mitigation, right? Even if like as soon as you see that 15-minute chop down there, right? You want to ask, even if you haven't got it marked, you want to ask, what did that come from?
Yeah.
If you can't figure it out, like honestly, if you're saying, well, look, I don't understand why this has done this, pop me a DM, mate. Like, you know, like if it all.
Yeah, I didn't want to hassle you too much. I already sent you a couple of questions today, so.
Whatever, man, pop it in questions, mate. Tag it.
Yeah.
You know, like we're always there to help with that shit. It's an intelligent question. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't understand why this has happened. Can you help me?
I've got all the time in the world for them questions, mate.
So
100%.
I'll tag Phantom Team multiple times as well.
Yeah, like if you can do it 5 or 6, that just
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry.
cheers, bro.
You're just on the wrong side today, mate.
But yeah, that's what it
yeah.
was, mate. Just wrong side.
Yeah, I did similar on Euro USD. I'll make this super quick because I already asked Sam about it. But yeah, I was still because this one I was actually in 15-minute structure because this is the swing point, right? So I've had this break of structure here. This is like that's the swing point. So I had this little flip here, the buy to sell. So I was like, yeah, that's a nice level. It did react like fairly well. I mean, not that well, obviously, but I did manage to get out. I had my stop loss just above this supply, but yeah, that I guess this one failed initially. I had this 15M, and then I had this little chotch in here, and that, I mean, I don't know, that's showing some bearish intent, but obviously
it's just formed like equal highs. You know, it done a little bit, right? But it's just formed equal highs. It's traded above this at this point in time. You know, this is the reaction. This is essentially, you need to look at it like this is the flip again, right? So better to see the last point of demand taken out, right? Like say this had come in, because it's not necessarily the wrong level, but you want to see that last point of demand taken out, right? So if you see this trade into this here, right, and then break lower, then cool, take that.
Yeah, I guess I viewed it as the last point of demand was like this level that I've drawn up here, because it breaks above. I mean, obviously it's really fucking tiny, but this still breaks above these highs. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, but then you don't get a reaction to it either. So there's no flip. This is a bearish candle. There's no actual OB there as such, right? An OB should always be a sell before a buy, or a buy before a sell that ideally gets engulfed.
Right, yeah. So because I'm just trying to get this straight. So because there was no reaction to demand, there was no like battle.
Yeah, exactly.
But even though it broke through demand, I'm just trying to
react to the demand. So there is like a battle happening. You want to see that reaction happen.
And the thing is you have this more significant point of demand down here because this is the flip price. This reacts, right? Pushes down and then takes this out, right? Yeah, this is level of demand. Yeah, right. Cool. It's taken a high, right? But you get no reaction to it. You've got this more significant level here, right? So really what you're then looking at is taking that long. Do you know what I mean? Or waiting to see this traded below, right? And then you can go like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did take that long actually, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, Jay.
Yeah, I became your liquidity.
Not sorry.
Yeah, and then this final level, I talked to you about this as well. Obviously, I thought it was a decent level still because it's the extreme.
Yeah.
It's the
Very
extreme
valid,
supply.
mate. It's valid all day.
Highest standard, of course.
But yeah, like you said, there's equals above, which is just probably going to want to be taken. It's
you know what I mean? Like that move down there, that's your trade there, right? When you're like, because you've got to be aware of that liquidity. So wait until you see like proper bearish intent, right? And here you just get this whole corrective move down, and then you get that nice run of liquidity, right? And then it comes back, mitigates, drops off, and then that fails because obviously it's got other intentions right now.
yeah, because I mean, this is still a pretty small chalk, but I was like, okay, this is the final point of like supply in this whole 15-minute leg. If it's gonna go from here. Yeah, I guess that was just my reasoning.
Yeah, I think that first trade that you took there is valid for sure. It's aggressive to a degree, right? But it is valid, right? And it's just one of those things that just didn't work out that time, right? There are reasons for it. Of course, you need to go and figure out those reasons, but yeah, like it's valid, right? The second trade, not so much there, because you just, again, it's that lack of intent, mate. Like look at which way the market is moving. Impulse, correction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Impulse. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And like you were saying, it's so high up the leg that yeah, it's
and it's like right at a discount again, mate. It's just pricing, isn't it? Like it's within that larger range, but if you look on the higher time frame, again, it's like it's a weekly discount at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah,
yeah. Okay, cool.
Be more cautious at those levels.
Yeah, sweet. I guess I was just looking at it as the 15-minute leg rather than like.
Yeah, but it's that's why I always preach like higher time frame narrative, right?
Yeah.
And anything below, like the story should come from the higher time frames.
Yeah.
Right, not from even from 15-minute. 15-minute is your immediate bias, right? So yes, your immediate bias there is bearish, but what is the higher time frame telling you? The higher time frame there is telling me probably not the best place to be selling.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
I guess I was just looking at it still as like, because we were all looking for longs around here, but it's still just tanked all the way through. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like, I'm not gonna fight structure. I'm just gonna maintain.
Just go on like weekly quickly. Weekly, look where we were there. Right, this was mistake. I don't know, yeah, like yeah. In all honesty, it was a bit of a mistake to be looking at, right? But now we push back down into the weekly discount, right? We now know that it's probably not the best place to be trading off of 15-minute structure. We should wait. At least, well, it's fine to be trading off 15-minute structure. You just need better confirmations, right? You need like 5-minute boss or like strong 1-minute boss, not like these little corrective moves and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the correction is literally them just generating liquidity to run price higher, right? That's look at that. So boom, up we go. You know?
Yeah, sweet.
If you start seeing sweeps like that, cool. Then yeah, we'll take that short.
Yeah.
But you want to see intent, right? Because yeah, you've got to like get that feeling for it. Do you know what I mean? That is this intent, is this not, etc., etc., etc. We still don't know whether this high is going to hold on. It hasn't gone yet. Do you know what I mean? But unless we see like a decent break of structure to the downside, do we really want to be selling at these prices? I'd prefer to wait for a pullback, like wherever it is, and yeah, then start selling again, personally.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, no, that's cleared it up, to be fair. Nice one, guys.
No worries, dude.
Yeah, big up. All right, I'll stop sharing now.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Robin, did you want to go next?
Sure. Hey, everybody.
How we doing, mate? All right.
I'm doing good. Let me share the screen really quick. So, do you see my screen right now?
It's just loading, mate. Yeah, got ya.
Excellent. So that's Euro USD.
Yep.
I don't have really huge problem with analysis because it's been a long time since I started analyzing markets. So for this, I'm pretty good, to be honest. I'm most of the time right, but this is for execution that I'm facing problems. For example, today on Euro USD, I not forecasted, but yeah, I analyzed and I was pretty sure it was going up to retest this high and probably breaking it.
Yeah.
This supply zone. And I was looking to buy from somewhere over here on a retracement. And this blue demand zone seemed ideal. So I bought the pullback, but I had really huge difficulties to hold trades, to enter in the good moment, not too late or not too early. And like this is stress. I'm stressing when I'm entering the market. I'm never at rest. And in fact, it show up like that. Factually, it show up like I'm doing shit with my trades. Same thing going with USD CAD. I was shorting it this morning and closed early.
Yeah.
And same thing on NZG USD.
Sounds like a big lack of
up
confidence.
my trading.
It
The
sounds like
last
a big
point
lack
I
of confidence, dude.
Yeah.
Like I've been there, man. I've had that. Like I could talk about this forever. Like, you know, it goes back to that thing again. Like one thing you can't have with trading, right, is you can't be attached to the trade, whether it wins or loses. You can't, like when you put that trade on, you're accepting that risk, right? So it needs to be a case of I put it on, you know, the probabilities are in my favor. I use the information I had in front of me. I've now got to let it do its thing. And you've got to have either a reasonable target, partials, or like for the initial start of the trade, once you're tagged in, go and do something else. You don't, like in theory, right? Once you're tagged in a trade, you don't need to sit here. Like if you're targeting the next 15 minute supply or demand, or like it's not going to get there in 5 minutes. So watching your trade is probably the worst thing you can do, because every time it pulls back, you'll freak out.
Yes.
You've got to like back yourself. And that just comes from like, if you don't believe in yourself and your approach, and you'll never get out of that habit. And it's a really horrible habit to have. And believe me, I've been there. And Sam knows all about it, because I've messaged him so many times with trades and he's like, tell me you're in that still. And I'm like, no, I got out of it.
Okay.
You know, and honestly, I've been there and it's something I've been combating a lot. And the biggest thing for me was like, detach yourself from it. Don't treat trading as like, I've got to win. You know, that again, that perfectionist mindset. Just look at it and say to yourself, has it done this, this, and this that I want to see? And have I got a 51% probability of this trade with all the information I've got? If yes, you have to smash it and you have to stay in it. So go for a walk, go and do something around the house, but get off your chart.
Okay.
Set alerts at the next level. Like say you want the next break of structure, set a trading view alert at the structure and go and do something else. If it breaks, it will ping, it will let you know. Then game on. You can come back, take some partials, take profit, however you manage. But if you watch candle by candle, you'll absolutely ruin your mindset. And it's a mindset that if you don't get out of, it will really have bad effects with your trading, because you'll start to get second guess all your analysis. And, you know, like you said, you get it right quite a lot, but you're not reaping those rewards. So then when you get it wrong, all you see is wrong. And you need to you can't focus on I'm wrong. You need to tell yourself, no matter what, I'm a winner, I win. And I know that out of 10 trades, my probabilities, I'm gonna win. So I've put the trade on, I've accepted the risk. If you don't accept the risk, don't put the trade on. And maybe try reducing risk. If you're risking 1% or even half and you find the numbers play with your head, just go down to like 0.1 and take every trade that you feel is valid. And then you'll see how you'll always finish up. As long as you execute every one that's valid, it's kind of like you can't really be wrong if your edge is right. So you'll finish up. But if you're scared and a loss bothers you, or holding a trade bothers you, honestly, that kind of sabotage, it just leave you stuck forever, man. Until you have to fight it head on. And I know a lot of people struggle with it.
There is other tips that I learned, and tell me if they are good. The first one is when you place the trade, either stop loss or TP, but no close early. Like you don't close it on the way. you wait
Yeah.
for it to hit one.
In
of the-
theory, if your analysis is right and you're targeting the next supply or demand, then you should have a TP on that, and that should be all that you take from that trade.
Mhm.
It shouldn't be I took partials, because to be honest, partials do kill the trade. You know, if you're at 5% and you take off half the trade, when it gets to TP, you don't get the full risk reward back. So it kind of defeats the point.
Okay.
So that I find getting up and leaving my screen is the best way. That was what helped me. Now I'm all right. I can sit here and I can deal with it. But like at the beginning, I would sit there watching every candle, and it's just not good.
Okay. Okay, good.
I don't know. You got anything else for that for Sam?
No, it's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I
TD, do you want to go next?
Yeah, appreciate it, fellas. And I'll say, man, what you mentioned last, I appreciate that. I struggled with being in front of the charts for a long time, and it killed my psychology until I would say about 6 months ago. So I just appreciate you reiterating that, because that's a very true statement.
No worries, man. Thank you. I think it's something that everyone, you know, we underestimate, and everyone goes through it. You know, it's natural.
Right.
But it's just
What
about.
I will say is everybody struggles with mindset.
Yeah.
Literally, me, Phantom, Brad, Brian, Alb, everyone struggles with mindset from time to time, mate. It's one of those things, you know, it's a never-ending battle, right? The mental side of this game is the hardest part. The technicals, you can make money trading support and resistance if you can be disciplined about it, man. Like, it's just so hard to get to that place, but you just need to constantly work on yourself to do it, you know?
Yeah. And that's why I'm here with you guys. I don't know who I sent the message to, but I sent it to the Instagram page. I said I'm ready, and I'm here now. So I just want to kind of go through this with you guys. I took a couple losses this morning. You know, I probably sat through about 3 of your videos. I haven't really sat through a lot of it, so a lot of this information is really just self-developed. So I'm really just kind of taking some feedback until I get the rest of your information and go from there. So looking at EN this morning. So originally, when I plotted this thing out on the essentially the hour frame, I was looking down here, and I saw this area, but I felt like that price, with it being Sunday, price would just kind of slice through this and take out this level. So as I was looking at it up into the London Open, price essentially what I felt like made equal lows. Now, I know equal lows aren't an ideal place of entry, but considering the few things I did watch, these equal lows here, I felt like this was a valid entry point. So I was at least targeting not the immediate high, but I was at 88, targeting 88 and looking forward to fill this balance up here. Yeah. And it got to 81 and it came back. Now I went to sleep. I'm American, so I was asleep at this point. Yeah. And when I woke up, it hadn't stopped me out yet. My stop was a little bit wider than I wanted to, but I felt like I was okay because it was the first trade of the week. And it kind of fell down. So I guess my asking point is it too much to trade within this range, or do you always want to consider the lows?
Can you go on? Well, it's more than that, mate. Can you go on the 4-hour quickly? So yeah, so 4-hour essentially, right? We're trading within. So we're trading like within here to here, right? This is essentially our 4-hour range, right? Again, if you're just looking at like the pricing of it, right now isn't the best time to be buying, right?
Okay.
It's at a premium, basically. It's expensive, right? Can you now go on the 15-minute quickly? Because I would say that looks like it's going to be bearish at that point. Yeah. So here we've had this big swing low, right?
So is this where you consider the break of structure when it breaks these lows?
Right, like because essentially, sorry, could you just move this little watch list thing you hit Yeah, brilliant, nice one. So yeah, like here, from what I can see right here, we've had a break of a high, right? We haven't created a new low after that high, right? Like if we'd had a pullback, then cool, your structure's somewhere else, right? But at the moment, this low here is the lowest point before this high goes, right? So this is your swing, this is your 15-minute swing low, essentially, right? I would, yeah, your idea of selling was definitely right, yeah, but
So,
it sold at different places as well.
right now, I guess why I changed, because I knew the price was going to come down eventually. But I guess the reason why I took this buy was because my original sell point was here, right at this level, thinking it was going to come back to fill this level. And then when it didn't come to balance, I felt like it was going to come back here to then go break that, and that this was the equal low point
So
going into the day.
Where inefficiency becomes a little bit of a problem, right? Price isn't respect inefficiency.
Hi, how are you?
Very like.
I'm sorry, bro.
Hang on, one sec. Right, come on.
Yeah, so inefficiency, right, is all it shows is aggression, right? Like, yeah, okay, there's this thing about the market needs to be efficient to balance the books or whatever, right? If you go on like charts and look back on weekly, there's inefficiency from like 1997. Like, it doesn't have to be filled, you know, so don't necessarily, like, structure order flow is much more important, right? Okay. So at this point, I would say this buy is definitely valid, right? But for me, once I'd seen it do this, right, cool, you get a nice reaction, right? You're looking to target up here, yeah, fine. You've had a reaction to this level here. I would guess on 1 minute, looking at this on 1 minute, we actually have a swing boss here. So I probably would have said this level here looks like a good place to sell. Basically.
Okay. Right. Once you saw this break, then you just said, okay, no, it's consistently coming down.
Yeah, exactly.
I
like,
got you.
So 15-minute is bearish here, right? Then
right.
this correction up, essentially, like impulse correction, right?
Right,
and
right.
The last level of demand, right, is this level here, right? This is the last order block that breaks anything, right? So this level should, if this is going to continue, right, this should at least see some form of reaction.
Right. So, and when it didn't make that reaction, that's when I should have known.
Yeah.
And see, and this purple line here,
yeah,
this could have been a wider entry. I just didn't want to risk 15 pips. Right. This is 20 pips. Yeah. So that I wanted to take the sell somewhere in this level, but like I said, I was too high. So okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So it's fine. Like, your level is good, right? I'm not saying that like the level makes sense, right? But you need to be aware that you have other stuff here, you have other stuff here, right? So we don't ever know that it's going to come back to like one specific POI.
Right. Okay. Just play the reaction.
Shift again here to bearish, right? Sell it. You know, order flow is now realigned with the 15-minute bias, which is making sense from a 4-hour pullback perspective.
Right. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Yep. All right. I'll go to GA and then I have GU and I'll be done. So GA is a personal favorite, but I feel like over the last week or so, I just don't understand.
I've always thought about trading. Spreads are really wide, man.
Yeah, it was a spread that put us off, dude. It was like 1.5 pips on FTMO. I'm sure it was.
Yeah, man. It's so going into the week, Friday after the week finished, I was actually here looking for.
Hold on 1 sec.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you can come forward for me, please.
Why can't I find who that is?
Just mute everyone.
Yeah, I have. There you go.
Unmute himself.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself, mate.
No, he's there.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so go on.
So going after Friday, I was charting it up like late Saturday night, and I was playing it from this level, and I felt like this was a sufficient order set that left this range, and I went ahead and mapped that out. And I was so focused on EN last night that I forgot to set the limit or the alert. I forgot everything. So it hit, and then it ran out. So I guess I was expecting price to come back essentially to this level, right? So I guess I kind of fell into the same the same instance,
Yeah.
thinking price was going to fill this inefficient level. And when I saw this shoot down, I was in this level. I was in here. It was a very small stop, but it came back and shot me out. So I guess my question is, does price need to fill this level down here? Like, is it
Uh,
valid to look for? Is it valid to look for shorts near this range?
uh, what time frame you on?
So this is. Give me
Oh,
a second. It's loading. So this is the fifth, essentially the 15-minute. But looking at the weekly frame,
yeah, weekly it looks like it should have a decent pullback from here. I would guess, yeah, to like that, this or this. I would say if it's going to pull back, it should be up to there.
so you
Right.
so you don't think you would get any type of reaction from here?
Well, no, that's weekly levels, mate. We'll get a reaction. Weekly levels rarely fail to give any type of reaction on the lower time frames. You know, there's a lot of interest at weekly levels. But just looking at the whole range again, it's just the premium discounting, right?
Right. Got you. Okay.
But yeah, we might well see thingy from there. But yeah, and again, it's that whole thing, right? Of price doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
Right? Like price can do whatever it wants, mate.
That's
Unfortunately, and we just need to follow the intentions as we're seeing them at that point in time, right? So if you look at the 15-minute again there, yeah, like at this point in time, right? You've got that break there, so you've got your swing high has been taken at this point, right? So yeah, like at this point, you've had like an initial change of character here. You've respected that. You've come up. You've taken this little high here. Then you take the major high here. So at this point, right, I wouldn't necessarily be expecting price to trade below this personally.
Right. That makes sense.
The short makes sense, but again, it's counter structure at that point in time. So just manage your risk accordingly. You know, like if you're counter structure, get risk off quicker. Like partial out of it, something like that, right? Because that looks like it was a decent move. It looks like you probably would have got to 1 to 3, 1 to 4 on that.
I mean, this whole move here was 100. This was 100 pips right here.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, man. Yeah, just if you're counter structure, just manage your risk a bit better and don't necessarily trade what you see, not what you think. Right? Yeah, like look at how price is delivering at that point in time. Are your intentions are your expectations reasonable of price at that point in time?
Right.
Yeah, basically, because that essentially these two wicks here, right? This on a lower time frame will be the reaction to this level of supply, because it breaks that structure there, right? So that's why it reacted so heavily to that, because this is essentially supply in this case becomes demand, right?
But we wouldn't want to take it from this level, right? Because it didn't clear any efficient liquidity. Like this, although this is a low,
I'd
we want to see it
quite
clear lows.
Like I'd look at that level, but I'd look for lower time frame confirmations on that level.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
And then my last one. So I'm not even though I'm American, I don't really trade major pairs, but I do it because it's a crowd favorite. So, this is GU. Looking at it on the hour chart, I felt like going into the week. This was Friday's essentially the balance. You got some demand, supply, and I just kind of feel like this morning with it being Sunday, the market's really bare. There's not a lot of people trading, so the market's just going to flow and provide that opportunity to go. So I guess I'm asking, is this a high risk opportunity to think this way, to think peak of this opposed to waiting for a confirmation to see it follow through? Because I'm not, I don't want to call myself a reversal trader, but I do like to think I'm finding equilibrium in the market at essentially, you know, swing highs and swing low points.
Yeah. The thing is, right, is again, though, you're trading counter, mate. Like, this is what, the 1 hour basically, right? So you get a break there, you get another break there. So you've gone bullish. So it's better. It's just better. Like, even if you're trading reversals, just wait for like lower time frame confirmations, mate.
Okay.
Like, just
Okay.
wait for like a 5 break, something like that there, right? Because yeah, like, cool, it's a valid level for sure, right? It breaks structure, right? It's not awfully priced, it's not brilliantly priced, it's around the EQ, the whole range, right? Which often stuff gets a bit weird at EQs of ranges. You've got this low here, which has broken swing structure, so could be considered strong. It hasn't really run a bunch of liquidity, it sort of dropped some here. Didn't really form that fast. So you've got a right, if you get like lower time frame confirmations, yeah, like you're within reason to expect that low to be taken, right? But at this point, you're counter structure.
Well,
Right.
I do think we're bullish. I think for me, I'm just taking it here to hedge it back up because I wasn't able to get this move. Like by the time I saw it, it was already here essentially, and I didn't want to buy after the breakout.
How many pairs do you trade?
I trade about eight pairs.
Does that affect your focus on? Does that make you miss trades?
I trade them in pairs. So like EA, GA, I try to trade them the same. EN, GN the same, and GU and G Chef roughly the same. So I'm not always trading them. Like give you an example. So this is GU, and looking at G Chef earlier today, you know, although I trade these roughly the same, I said, well, G Shep is a lot less volatile. It's a lot less money in this pair. So I felt like if G Shep is getting ready to run, I feel like GU is going to run too. But GU already ran this morning.
Yeah.
So does GU need to pull back? And that's what made me look at the GU level and say, hey, look, you know, if it's going to pull back, it has to pull back now.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it gets funky once it gets up here.
Yeah, it does, mate. Yeah, it gets weird cues of ranges. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I trade one pair, mate.
One pair.
Same for me, dude.
Same for you. Dang, okay.
It gives us the ability to focus on that. You know what I mean? Like I've traded 8 before, mate. And it just like I know that it used to make me miss trades.
How long into your journey did you realize 8 was too much?
Well, after like when I started trading SMC was when I started with Phantom, so that was back in like August last year. Then I traded like higher time frame stuff up until I sort of messed around with lower time frame stuff, but never found any consistency up until sort of Christmas. And then like around sort of the beginning of the year, just started focusing really on one pair, like intraday.
Wow. I guess my fear of that, not fear, but just like the psychology that you guys mentioned, I guess I feel like I will miss an opportunity if I'm not watching more than one thing, you know.
But the thing is, you won't, because you'll be fully focused on that
Yeah.
one.
I mean, EU gives us, I'd say EU gives a good valid setup a day.
Yeah, I mean, I took 2 today. One's floating around 1 to 10 and one hit 1 to 15.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
like
awesome.
having that kind of clarity and focus on one pair for me has been a game changer. When I used to trade sort of say like 5, 6.
Yeah.
And I was the same. I mean, me and Sam have done lots of work together, but coming to Christmas, we both sort of said like, you know, too many pairs. You always feel like, you know, you're always trying to catch. I found I was always trying to catch reversals for one. And I also found like I never had much focus on what was doing what. 1 minute I'm looking at AU, then I'm looking at EJ, then I'm looking at GU, and it's too much. Whereas now I'm like, EU does this, I know where it is. And for me as well, like trading should be like freedom, right? Like we don't want to be stuck here every second of the day with alerts pinging left, right, and center. You just want one pair.
That's it.
Catch your percent for the week,
right.
and you can take the rest of the week off and enjoy the whole point of trading, which is freedom.
Right.
So yeah, since I've
Awesome.
gone one pair, it's been game changing for me.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that, fellas. I do a lot, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, no worries. Nice to have you. Lovely to have you here, mate. Always good to have people around. Who else have we got? No one else wants to ask questions. Henry's got his hand up again.
Henry wants another round.
No, it's just a quick question, not
Oh.
necessarily to share my screen, just to give everyone a chance. But basically, for example, I used to trade like 4 or 5 pairs, and now I really cut down to just one, which is EU.
Yeah.
And what is your opinion about like trading different pairs? Because I feel like when someone is not totally confident about their trading style and they're not very confident about the probabilities behind it, and they focus on 3, 4 pairs, sometimes they're more like, I feel they're more likely to be vulnerable to like a series of losing trades without taking the winning trade that they were supposed to take, but they didn't take it because of lack of confidence. And sometimes I feel like if we focus on 3, 4 pairs and we're not confident in our trading style, it might, but I'm not sure.
No, I agree, mate. I think if you've got too many pairs as well, like if you have a bad day, you know about it.
Bad day across everything, right?
You have a bad day across 4 or 5 pairs, and you're going to start thinking you're not doing something right. When that's not the case, it's just unfortunately that the probabilities didn't play out across 5 pairs.
Yeah.
And that plays with your head. So that's why with one, I like to think if you're taking like 2, 3, 4 hits a day on just EU and you're not getting any winners, then I would say there's a problem, But if you're catching the odd L, but then your win makes up for it straight away, which with our risk reward it does. Yeah, for me, I don't know why you would need more pairs, but again, it's personal preference. Everybody, likes different pairs and things. It all works on every pair, but I think capping how many you trade certainly helps.
Yeah, that makes sense. But do you personally sometimes when EU, for example, is in a very ranging market, like let's say it's in the daily supply and demand zone, and it's like it's finding struggle to find a new momentum, do you sometimes switch to one pair for a few days, or do you
I just have a day off if I'm honest, mate. Only because I know that in a month I'll make more than enough to be happy and and live. So I'm not fussed if I have a bad couple of days where nothing happens, or I have a week when nothing. I'll just enjoy the benefits of being full time and and do other stuff. I did look at maybe going into another pair as well, but I just sort of said to myself, when you've got a couple of FTMOs and you're making, 10, 15, 20% in a week or whatever, like, do you really need to trade every day? And the answer is like, you don't. And I think that's what separates a lot of like the true like professional trading, which is what I'm trying to really, engross myself into, is like, you don't have to take a trade every day. You don't have to come to the desk, and if you haven't took anything, freak out and feel like you've done something wrong or feel guilt, because the beauty of this job is you only need you only need a trade at, let's say you make 10% a month and you've got 2 FTMOs, not being funny, but that's more than any job, like straight off the bat. So do we need to sit there every day and trade? No. If it's a bad day and it looks crap, I'll just go and do something else. And that for me is really important, because you shouldn't just be like trading only, can't do anything else. You should also enjoy the perks of time, because no matter how much money you get, you can't get your time back.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, that's me, mate. I don't think so. Sam, you don't do anything other different, really, do you? Or do you?
I'm still looking at GU, but I haven't even got it marked up at the moment, to be fair.
No, yeah.
It's moved nicely, and I do like cable. Yeah, I agree. Like one pair is more than enough. Like, you don't need anything else. Do you know what I mean? You really can't just like one trade. You can, like, the market moves the whole time. There's always opportunity, right? It's just for us to pick whether it's the right opportunity or not.
Yeah, 100%. That's the main thing, isn't it? And if it's not, just don't force it. Just chill.
So,
yeah, because
sit out and enjoy the perks of, there's many other things we can do rather than sitting here trading.
That's true. And because at the end of the day, like, if we don't even take one trade during the day and you don't affect your accounts, like, you're still doing better.
That's the thing. And that's, I think, a big problem people have, is they feel they have to trade every day, and then they might have been up and then they trade a real crap market in a range, like, getting smashed and spanked all over the place, and then they give all their money back and they're like, oh, and if you just took the decision to go, actually, looks crap, not trading today, you would have not been in that situation. And that's what starts to affect your mindset, because you might take a crappy trade and then your RR starts to go down and you're like, oh, this isn't working. And the reality is well, it is, if you were just patient and professional, you'd have been all right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
No worries, mate.
Yeah.
Brinkers, you got your hand up.
Nah, bro, just taking the piss.
No. You put your hand up, mate. Rules, you got to say something now.
Oh, fuck. I'm on my phone, mate.
Well, it's just not good enough, is it, mate? Come on.
I went full margin long, mate. I'm short and I blew my account. Can you help me, please?
Yeah, mate, you need serious help. Sam,
Oh, fuck.
Sam will deal with you, mate. He loves that.
Go and see the bank, mate. Get a loan.
I've already done that once, mate.
I don't know. Maybe you've got a nice banker, mate. He might let you. I'm not sure. But yeah,
Sam does loan sharking, mate. He'll sort you out.
Yeah, that's it, brother. If you want to borrow 100 grand, I'll lend you 100 grand. But come around the house and about afterwards.
Cheers, I'll message you afterwards, mate. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Who we got next?
Kalush.
Hello?
Kalush? Oh,
Hey
yeah.
guys.
Hello, mate. All right.
Hi Tom, how are you?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Oh, thanks. Thanks for the last session. It was amazing. But still, I got this issue of figuring out if this lower high is weak or strong. So I was about to ask if you can just make it more clear, or you have more explanation of how to recognize these lows and highs.
So swing structure breaks, one, like if a high or a low, no matter how it's formed, if a high or a low breaks swing structure, we can consider it as relevant, right? And it is to a degree, it's how they form as well, right? Like it should run liquidity, it should be aggressive, right? Like, hold on, let me get a chart. Like, right, EU. Yeah, EU right now, right? Not even if this low, right, takes out the swing structure, I still wouldn't be massively confident in saying this is a strong low because it hasn't formed particularly well, right? Like this high here, I wouldn't. It's strong because it breaks swing structure, yes, right? But it doesn't really form aggressively. It doesn't form quickly, right? Like say this low here had taken the swing high, right? I'd be much more confident in calling this a strong low, right? Because it takes out liquidity, it forms with aggression, right? It's about like reading intent from price action, right? Like here, this high here, the way this forms is most likely strong, right? Because it takes out liquidity, it forms aggressively, it doesn't take a long time to turn around, right? This low here takes a very, very long time to turn around, right? Doesn't break swing structure, doesn't run any liquidity. This high here runs some liquidity, it creates liquidity as well, but we're always creating liquidity, so we don't actually know. But yeah, this one takes out liquidity, forms it really aggressively, right? Again, here, takes out liquidity, forms aggressively, doesn't take out liquidity, forms very slowly, right? Like here, takes out liquidity, like, up here, but this is a long, long way away to see a pullback all the way up there as well, and then forms really slowly. This one runs these lows and forms much quicker, so we'll probably see a continuation, right? Again, even this low, right? Yes, this low breaks 15-minute swing structure, but it forms slowly again, right? You just have to like read the intent from it, mate. Like, what does it look like the market is doing from that low or high, right? Like today, right? Does this low necessarily look like the market wants to, like, does this low look like right now it is strong enough to take out this high up here? To me, no. Right, because it's taken a long time to turn around. It's very flat, etc. Right, it's just it's not the.
So you're saying it should be sharp. It should take
Yeah.
over the liquidity and
Yeah, exactly. It should form like, it should, ideally it should form like that, that's then strong, right? Whereas if the low then, say, all right, say we get this, right? Market comes up, forms like that, and then the low forms like this,
it's not
which
strong.
is in control at that point in time, right? It looks like the sellers are in control, right?
So-
Because they form that high with aggression, the buyers are forming this high with little to no aggression. See what I mean?
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
No worries.
it's not like that. Just a boss can just make it possibly make it like a good low or high.
Yeah, like like once you break swing structure, right, you generally get a continuation, right, depending on the time frame where you are in the market, etc., 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 right? But like like here, right, we break swing structure, right? This high hasn't formed the most beautiful, right? It's a little bit flat, but it still turns around quite nicely. It's taken out a good amount of liquidity, right? It's broken swing structure. We can expect a continuation from it. Again, this high forms like perfectly, right? One wick and straight down, right? Again, this high, one wick, straight down, right? Again, wick, straight down, right? This wick, 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 push up, right? Yeah, the push up is decent as of now, but we don't know right now whether this low is going to hold, because it hasn't taken the high and it's not formed amazingly. So we can't be certain right now that it's going to take, well, we can never be certain anyway, but we can't say that it's more likely to take the high than not, right? Whereas if this had formed more like this, with like, if this had wicked and then rallied up, you can be like, yeah, okay, that's probably going to take the high.
So for now, are you expecting the price to come back to these areas and then it goes back to its own way?
That's what I would say. I would say there's nice levels above here. Again, I'd be expecting it, like I would class this as really the major break, right? So I would be expecting it to pull back above it. This I wouldn't say broke. I would say the break came from something above here. There's higher time frame levels. There's a couple of lower time frame levels in this leg as well. That were all pretty nice. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it makes sense for it to pull back now. Like we might well see a continuation down, one more run of liquidity, and then a pullback. Like until this high goes, we can't confirm one way or the other. But yeah.
All right, cheers, mate. Thanks.
No worries, man.
How have you got that dot cursor? Top left, mate. Up here.
Don't tell him.
Oh, have you not been telling him? Ah.
No, he hasn't actually asked me.
Oh.
Sends me, so don't tell him. Has anyone else got their hand up? Yeah.
Sorry, mate. I was drawing on your chart, trying to help Hensley out because I feel for him. Grateful. Did you have a question? Hello.
Where's Azza?
He's not here, mate. Obviously doesn't like us anymore.
Bastard.
Grateful, are you there? Oh.
Hello.
Hello, mate. All right.
Hi, mate.
How we doing, mate? All right.
Doing great.
Good stuff.
And I'm new here, and I'm sorry, my English is not good, so I'm trying my best to ask you a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you perfectly.
Okay, mate. Can I share the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, I struggle, when we get reaction in supply or demand.
Mm-hmm.
And example in here, this is 15 minutes demand,
Yeah, supply, yeah.
When we get a reaction in here, what we are waiting just come back. And why it's not come back here and then go up and then come here, then we go up. And
Why didn't it respect this level? Is that what you mean?
yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. So it had like at this point in time, right? If we're looking at this over here, right? Just from 5 minute structure, right? 5 minute here, we have taken this low, right? We've then taken this high here, right? This low, this high, right? So we've already, like, we're already starting to see some form of bullish order flow, right? Now, if we see this low respected, right, we can say that they're creating higher lows at this point in time. We then break this high over here, right? So now we've had 2 breaks of structure, right? We've got a confirmed higher low, right? The next expectation would be another higher low, right? Especially considering where we are on the higher time frames at this point in time, like very discounted, you know, like tapped into demand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Then we start seeing these higher lows forming, right? So the next expectation would always be another higher low at that point in time, right? So when you come back to here, it's better to wait for another lower time frame confirmation. You see what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, it's just you have to don't be so focused on just one idea. You have to read what price is doing, right? You have to like say, okay, well, yeah, price is overall bearish at this point in time, right? But it's starting to show bullish intent, right? It's starting to show that the market potentially wants to retrace or pull back to a higher level, at higher prices, so that it can then form more liquidity and run down, basically. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like the overall logic, right? Like, where are we according to the higher time frame? Like, does this sell make sense with overall price at the moment? You know, A, it's very cheap. B, it's just run a ton of liquidity. C, it's broken structure. All of those things would generally mean we're going to see some form of higher prices.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries, man. Was that your only question? Do you have another question? Or?
Yes, I have another question. When we have this long drop down, we are expecting to pull back in the 50 of this leg, right?
Yeah, correct, mate. Yeah.
So it will be in somewhere in here, this 4-hour order block.
Maybe there's other levels above that as well, where the break of structure actually came from that I would personally be looking at. There's a really nice 15-minute order block just above. Like, again, the way this OB formed, I don't love. It forms sort of relative equal highs. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite. It's a valid level for sure. Like, it's a good level to look at. I'm not saying it won't go from there. I'm just saying be aware that you have like other stuff up here like this.
Yeah, like that.
Is there bar?
Yeah, this one is my favorite at the moment, personally, right? Because we come into this level of demand here that you've got marked out correctly, right? We react, we attempt to put in a high, and we fail from here. So that's essentially the major shift in supply to demand that took out daily structure. And we have liquidity below it. You know, we've got some good things going for that at the moment. It's starting to look like a very corrected retrace, which is good. Yeah, to see a lot higher in the market, it's all looking quite nice at the moment. But we'll see what happens. But that would be my that would be my expectation at the moment. And unless we start seeing some real bullish intent. Like, if we start seeing, you know, if tomorrow London decides to wake up and kick ass and put 100 pips in the air, then I'm not going to be selling into it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No worries, brother.
Yes, okay.
Cheers, mate. Everyone's setting limits on that supply now, mate.
I can see the chat. I'm not saying it will hold, but it's a good level. All right, keep your eyes on it. If you all make money, I want half.
70% in it.
Should be, mate. It should be anti-FTMO. To be fair, I called the pullback today as well. If anyone actually listened to me,
Probably not.
probably not.
No.
Probably not.
Right. We got. I'd make this maybe the last one.
Yeah, I have demo money. I like demo money. It's like Monopoly money, isn't it?
Braylon.
So I'm just going to run to take a piss.
Can you enjoy yourself, mate? Braylon, are you there? Hello. Right. Okay. Maybe you're not. Do we have another one? Yeah. To go for the junior.
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Hello, mate. You're right.
Yeah, I was just wanted to say that thank you guys for the course and stuff like that, because 1 month ago I was really lost, like in smart money. I was like trading over blocks, very market structure, and expecting price go to the moon basically after that. But right now, like some days I get very good results, but other days I get to the charts and I don't know what I'm looking at. Like I don't know what time frames to look at. I mean, I've been following the 15 minutes time frame, but I don't know if I should go the 1 hour as well. Like I'm getting lost basically.
Okay, you need to like simplify it. Are you using?
Yeah, I need to simplify. Yeah.
So like obviously with me, I'm always looking at obviously weekly, daily levels. You need to be aware of where they are. But I'm ultimately following like 4 hour expectation order flow. So playing pullbacks, playing continuations, and then I'm pairing that up with the 15-minute structure to kind of give me my intraday bias. And then I'm not really, to be honest, I don't really use the 1 hour at all. I look at it maybe for like, if something's reacting and I can't see it on the 4 hour, the 15, of course I go through my time frames, I use all of them, 30-minute, 10-minute, until I can find something that makes sense. But I think if you do, if you draw out daily 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, it's just too much. You need to keep it quite simple. So for me, the 4 hour and the 15, they work well together. But I'm always aware of like weekly, daily levels. And basically, I'm waiting for a higher time frame mitigation, change in character, and I'm entering. But I'm always basing it on a higher time frame. So like this morning, I'm expecting a pullback on the 4 hour leg. So I would look for longs playing that pullback once sort of the 5-minute, 15-minute is showing me and changing character. It's really important not to get change of character confused with boss. So obviously like a proper boss, you want swing structure, whereas change of character can be like, substructure. Once I'm seeing that intention shown, I'm then playing that intention to essentially the 4 hour EQ would be my ideal level. But I'm always aware of supply levels on the way. So like the ones we've gone through on EU today, when we get to a supply level, if I'm in long, if it does again mitigate a higher time frame and change character, I'll look for shorts and I'll hedge my position happily. I'm just to keep it really simple. I think you can overlook things a lot, look for everything, this secret sauce and potion of hundreds of things, when it's actually really, it pretty much is simple. Like if you look at every trade that's ever worked, it will mitigate a higher time frame, POI, supply or demand. It will change character inside it, usually sweeping liquidity, and then off it goes. And it will go to the next supply or demand zone. So if you're looking at, if I'm following 4 hour to 4 hour, essentially if I'm getting in at a 4 hour, my next target should be the next 4 hour supply or demand. If you're getting in at a 15-minute and you're counter trend, you could just target the next 15-minute supply or demand.
Yeah, basically I need to like simplify a lot, because I'm checking the 1 hour, 4 hour, I'm checking basically everything and I'm like getting confused with it. So that's basically what I was going to ask.
Yeah, so what time frames, what do you follow? Do you use all of them?
No, basically I focus on the 15 minutes market structure. I take the 1 hour as well. Basically I need to simplify it, but I follow the 15 minutes and I enter on the 1 minute as well. Like basically I enter on the 1 minute and I follow the 15-minute market structure.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously I enter on the 1M, sometimes a second, but I'm doing the same, mate, to be honest. 4 hour, 15-minute. And obviously basically I'm building a whole story on where we are on a daily level, where we are on a weekly level. because obviously they'll take over compared to a 4 hour. So you need to make sure you're looking at daily, weekly levels. But you know, mostly I'm just focusing on where the 4 hours going.
All right. So thank you so much, mate.
No worries, mate. I hope that helps. I know.
Yeah, it helped a lot. Thank you.
But you just try remember, like, it is actually very simple.
Yeah. Try not to overcomplicate it because you're
Yeah.
gonna get like lost.
One thing we always do is we learn something and then we try and overcomplicate and over improve.
Yeah, that's right.
And you don't need to. It can be just as simple as what
Yeah, we are trying to overcomplicate, but in reality, it's like very simple. Like,
yeah, that's it, man. And you want it simple, so you don't have to go through a checklist or anything. You know, personally for me, I threw my trade plan in the bin. I don't have that massive trade plan, and I know what I want to see, and I'm more about getting involved and sort of flowing with the market as opposed to having a checklist, because not every setup will tick those boxes, and sometimes you'll miss out on a setup because it might not have ticked the 400th box on your list. You know, like sometimes it can be that simple. Higher time frame mitigation, change of character, go.
yeah, all right. I get it, mate. Thank you so much.
Nice, dude.
All right.
Thanks, mate. Braylon, are you there now?
Yes.
All right, right.
I've just recently joined about a week ago.
Welcome, mate.
Okay, so getting kind of used to how to structure. I kind of just wanted to say two things. One, I've gone 7 months learning how to trade, and I've never made money. I've only lost money. I've lost about $7,000 since I started.
Yeah.
Standard, mate. I've been there.
Yeah, and this is today I stayed up through the night for the sessions, and today was the first week. This is the first day I've ever went positive. So
Nice, man. Well done.
I was like, oh, I just wanted to kind of just say thank you. And I did have one question, and I guess my question is how do you guys kind of identify, you know, more or less which supply or demand zones that you would prefer to set your setups off of? Because I mean, I find a lot of them, but I'm not really sure which ones I should prioritize. And but other than that, you know, even off of guessing alone and just kind of sticking to the plan, you know, that you guys laid out in the course, I actually feel like I'm doing something, and that alone has helped me tremendously. And so I guess I kind of just wanted a little clarity.
Well, again, mate, it's why we tend to wait for like lower time frame confirmations, right? Because we never really know if a level is going to hold or not. You know, you can okay, you can theorize some things, right? Extremes, like the origins of the moves, essentially. If the level is going to hold, that is the last place that can hold, so that should hold, right? Again, like what structure telling you? So are you trading with structure, not against it? You know, if you're trying to, let me share a chart quickly. If we're looking, sorry. If we're looking at like 4 hour like 4 hour, so take this drop for example, right? You know, yeah, okay, technically we have a 4 hour POI here, we have a 4 hour POI here, right? But none of them even get, like, nothing happens, you know, they just get run completely because you're counter structure, right? You're trying to trade a reversal from this point. So it's important that it's ideally pro structure. Normally the best ones run liquidity, do things like that, you know, like this POI here, right? Essentially this reacts to this level of demand. This whole area has been a massive run on liquidity. We've seen a huge impulse away from it. We get this little high here that acts as like a level of liquidity into the POI, right? And then we get the huge break of structure from it, essentially, right? So it's just takes a bit of time to start seeing them properly, mate. It's just like the way that I learned how to look for them, really, right, was by just going over charts and looking at anything that I'd want to be involved in, right? Like this move here, you know, this is something 100% I want to be in this drop. You know, like of course I do. So how could I have got in there, right? And then that will start helping you build like overall narrative for what you're seeing, right? Like, you know, this drop here, why did this come? Well, if we look back, right, we've got this POI over here, right? That yes, this is counter structure, right? But it's arguably it's one of the extremes, right? The extreme is here, but this is one of the extremes, right? It reacts to this last level of demand here, right? Pushes up, runs these highs here, and smashes swing structure, basically, like significant daily swing structure as well, right? So essentially, this caused the whole thing to move down, right? Again, if we look over here, right, why does this thing here get this huge reaction here, right? Well, it does the same things again, right? It runs liquidity, the whole area runs liquidity, right? We get this reaction to this previous level of demand, right? We range, so we have this battle between buyers and sellers. Sellers take control and destroy everything on the way, right? So likely there's an awful lot of money sitting at this, right? Again, there's another nice one. Normally, the problem that I always found with trading like higher time frame POIs is that generally speaking, by the time you get back to them, you'll counter trend, right? Because price won't normally run back to a 4-hour POI straight away. It will normally like react off something else in the move because there's a lot of momentum in the trend, right? So now, like, if this is going to continue, I wouldn't necessarily, it might well, because this is daily, right? But I wouldn't necessarily expect it to come all the way up here. I'd expect it to react or something lower time frame down here because I'd expect to see more intent in the market. But yeah, how do we there are a good few videos on in the content. There's one, me and Al did one, what was it called, mate? Do you remember? POI selection or something.
I think so, yeah. OB selection, maybe.
Something like that.
Okay.
That's a good one where we go.
Well, that actually gave me a level of clarity there. Wow, thank you. I'm just trying to find a way to do it. You know, I'm the only trader where I live, so it's kind of hard to learn on my own. So that's why I joined the community. And questions like that, it's impossible to get any answers from. So thank you for clarifying.
No worries. Hope it helps.
Get stuck with anything, like you can always use the questions in the Discord, and we'll try and get back to you as quick as we can.
Yes.
Yeah, like when we're like in trading hours, sometimes we might be a little bit slow replying, obviously because we're focusing on trading, but we will get back to you. So don't feel like you can't.
No, I'm not much of a rusher. I'm more of I'm one of the bonehead types. I gotta mess up and fuck it up before it actually makes sense to me. So
the best way to learn.
Yeah, you can explain to me until the cows come home, but until you're like, oh, okay, I get why you said it now. Unfortunately, I had to lose $2,000 to do it, but it's all good.
Yeah, that's it. The expensive lessons last me. I know all about that.
So no worries on my end. I learned the hard way, so it is what it is.
Yeah, good, man.
You can always reach out though, man. Always, all right.
Thank you, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
No worries, mate.
No worries, mate.
Yep. Right, last one, and we're running over a bit. Iro's iPad.
It's a funny name.
Yeah, isn't it? Must be something to do with Apple. Iro, are you there?
I just want you to go and break that down.
You're still in waiting to count your pennies, aren't you? That's why.
That's doing 170, bro.
No, I told you it's going to the monthly at 1.1400.
If it does that, I swear to God, I'll only partial it at that. You know me, mate. I won't take everything off.
But... No. Right. Okay, then. Well, we'll end it there, guys. I hope it's been some value for you. It will get uploaded tomorrow, roughly. So those of you that are going to ask me when it's going up. And yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah. Lovely to chat to everyone. Some good questions, and let's all have a smashing week.